Good morning, everyone. I was going to wait one more line before the applause, but we can do it now, too. Let's hear it for libraries. Good morning. Thank you for being here today. I'm Tana Elias. I'm the director of Madison Public Library, and I am so delighted to be here with you this morning. 150 years ago, on May 31st, 1875, the doors of the Madison Free Library opened for the very first time. The original collection was donated and contained less than 5,000 books. On opening day, attendees were invited to bring a valuable book to contribute, which resulted in an additional 200 books being added to the collection that first day. I love this story because it shows that from the very beginning, Madison supported its libraries and wanted to see them successful. And they were a community effort, and they were supported by all the people who used them. Through the years, there have been many examples of this mutually beneficial relationship between the people of Madison and its libraries. Many of you have donated books, volunteered your time, advocated for library funding, and supported the Madison Public Library Friends and Foundation through donations and time. We've got a slideshow just outside this room for a wonderful overview of our 150-year history, but I want to highlight just a few moments in time this morning. Though we opened our first library in 1875, there was a lot that happened to make this momentous date possible. In 1872, the Wisconsin State Legislature created a statute allowing for the use of local governments to use tax monies to fund public libraries, laying the groundwork for public libraries across the state. Just a few in 1872 and 1875, 428 today. In 1874, the Madison City Council adopted an ordinance establishing a free library and a $1,500 operating budget. And in 1875, our two-room library in City Hall opened, starting with that donation and Miss Virginia Robbins as the first city librarian. For a little bit of perspective, City Hall was then located over here at the corner of West Mifflin and Wisconsin Streets. The Capitol lawn was covered in trees, and Madison's population was about 9,500 people. By 1878, the library had already expanded hours and added a reading room in the space. In the first decade of the 1900s, the library saw continued growth and innovation. In 1902, we opened a children's room. In 1903, the library operated book deposit stations, library collections in schools, and workplace reading rooms throughout the city. And by 1906, the library moved into its own building at the corner of Carroll and Dayton Streets, funded by the philanthropy of Andrew Carnegie. In 1913, our first branch library opened at 1249 Williamson Street, also funded by a Carnegie gift. Just making sure I'm on track. And in the 1920s, a series of school libraries were operated by the Madison Free Library, followed by the 1944 opening of the Monroe Street branch. In 1953, the city expanded service yet again with its first bookmobile. As the city grew, we added Sequoia, Hawthorne, and Lakeview libraries in the 1950s. In the 1960s, we added this new central library in 1965, followed by the Pinney and Goodman South Madison libraries, then the Meadow Ridge Library in 1974, then a long break in building before adding the Alicia Ashman Library in 2000. And just last week, we broke ground on our 10th library, the Imagination Center at Rindall Park, which will open. Okay. The Imagination Center at Rindall Park will open in September of 2026 on the city's northeast side. As we researched the library's past, we discovered stories of innovative service, technological change, ideological differences, and continual growth. Throughout our history, we've responded to community needs, working with partners to provide more access to educational resources, from libraries in schools, daycare centers, and senior centers, to mobile service. We've trained the next generation of library students and library science majors and worked with partners to provide social and health services in our buildings. We've partnered with authors and artists and community members to host events and initiatives to help our community celebrate the rich cultural heritage of the many people who call Madison home. We've faced challenges along the way with our community as well. We've provided library service during wartime, during economic downturns, during epidemics, and during challenging political times. Through these times, we remained focused on providing free access to information, to intellectual freedom, and to an emphasis on literacy, lifelong learning, and civic engagement. As we look ahead to the next 150 years, I look forward to continuing to provide valuable, responsive services that help enhance people's lives. Whether you need to print your resume, or research your genealogy, or bring your kids to play to one of our play spaces on a rainy day, or simply want to fill your bag full of books, DVDs, magazines, records, other items, the library is here for you. Thank you for being here for Libraries Today. And much like our first library was started by the combination of a private donation and the city operating fund, the Madison Public Library Foundation continues to support Madison's libraries through private donations. Next, I'd like to invite Connor Moran, Executive Director of Madison Public Library Foundation, to say a few words. Let's cheer for Connor. Come on.
Thank you, Tana. I'm Connor Moran. I'm Executive Director of Madison Public Library Foundation. And if you don't know, I have the best job in town because all I have to do is go talk to people about how great the library is, and I don't have to convince anyone. I have sat in many rooms and started to had a plan, had a whole spiel about how you're going to get involved, and people say, stop. I just want to tell you about an amazing thing that happened to me at my library, and those amazing things can be learning to read, becoming a citizen. They can be having their child discover something new. They can be any number of different things. It can be finding a record that you haven't listened to in 30 years and bringing it to your house because you were able to check out a turntable, which just happened to my wife. It is a constant pleasure to be a part of the Madison Public Library community. Our role as the foundation is to mobilize the Madison community to improve, promote, and support Madison Public Library. And one of the best parts about that is you don't need a lot of encouragement to be mobilized. Every time you're here in this room, every time you check out books, every time you bring your kid to a story time, you are supporting the library. A lot of what we do does come down to making financial contributions to the library, and that allows the library, which does so much for all of us, to go above and beyond. A couple of extra percent, a couple of dollars for that program, a couple of well-placed donations and suggestions have made our library so much more than it would otherwise get to be. A year ago, I said to Tana, hey, next year, we have this pretty significant moment that we're gonna get to celebrate, and we get one chance to do it. And so I wanna just thank everyone in this room, in particular Liz Boyd, who took on, please clap for Liz. Who took on so much of the heavy lifting to have us in this moment today. But I also want to take a moment to thank every librarian, every page, every circulation desk worker, every person who worked in technical services or drove the truck to get the book that you asked to have on hold to get to you today. Let's give a really warm round of applause for 150 years of putting books in the hands of readers. You can see me in this picture, absolutely delighted to be able to put a shovel in the dirt to expand the library system for the first time since 2000. Libraries are a promise we make as a city, we make to each other, whether that's access to information, which we talk about a lot, but also having a safe, welcoming place to go where no one's going to ask you why you need to be here. No one's going to ask you, how'd you get here? That is special. That is a thing that we do here at the library every day, and it doesn't happen in a lot of other places in society. I want to say thank you to all of you for your support of libraries, and also our next speaker, Madison's Mayor, Sacha Rhodes Conway, who is a huge library supporter in her own right. Yes, please, warm welcome to bring her to the stand.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at our fabulous library today. I hope you enjoyed the parade. That was probably the most fun event that I've had in a very long time. I also want to say a huge thank you to all of the folks that work in the Madison Public Library and make not just this building, but all of our branches safe and welcoming and educational places for our entire community. I am a library kid. I had the chance to speak to the library staff day this week and reminisce a little bit about libraries I have known and the special places and times in my life that libraries have been. And so I also want to say a thank you to all of you and to our entire community for supporting our libraries. They don't exist without support from the public. And I think we see that now more than ever when at the national level, libraries and library services are under attack. And it's even more important then that we as a community come together and support access to our libraries and make sure that they can fulfill their mission to provide good information to everyone who needs it, and all of the other amazing things that they do. And I hope you get a taste of some of that outside after we finish this speechifying thing we're doing here. It is my job to officially proclaim, so I have an official proclamation, and I would like to read it to you in celebration of this anniversary. A mayoral proclamation. Whereas Madison Public Library is an essential arm of the City of Madison, connecting residents to lifelong learning, literacy, business resources, art and cultural programming, and other tools needed to thrive. And whereas Madison Public Library checks out more than 3 million items each year, has over 1.3 million visitors to its 9 locations and on its mobile library, the Dream Bus, and hosts more than 4,000 programs, and precisely 123,318 Madison residents, nearly 44% of us, have a library card. I mean, that sounds big, but really, shouldn't it be 100%? And whereas Madison Public Library helps improve access to devices and technology for Madison residents through public computing, free Wi-Fi, and digital literacy classes. And whereas Madison Public Library also provides social connection opportunities to residents of all ages in the form of free programs, events, and activities that enrich their lives through art, music, science, humanities, and especially literature. And whereas Madison Public Library has nurtured generations of children, helping create a lifelong love of reading while instilling early literacy frameworks through story times, play spaces, summer reading programs, and more. And whereas Madison Public Library's physical locations offer shelter during harsh weather conditions and include meeting and study spaces where library card holders can create their own community-led programs or engage in quiet scholarship. And whereas Madison Public Library is governed by a library board, members of whom are here, yay, board members, supported by the Madison Public Library Foundation. Thank you so much, Connor. The Friends of the Madison Public Library, yay, friends. and has been a beloved institution in the city of Madison for 150 years. And whereas Madison Public Library is celebrating its 150th anniversary precisely on May 31st of 2025 now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Satya Rhodes Conway, Mayor of Madison, Wisconsin, do hereby proclaim May 31st, 2025 as Madison Public Library Day in the city of Madison. And I do encourage and exhort all residents of Madison to celebrate our libraries, not just between now and that date, but all year long, every day, every year. Thank you all so much.
She said it, folks. So I invite you to appreciate cake and coffee and lemonade outside. I invite you to appreciate all the different displays and activities happening throughout the space until 1 o'clock. If you want to see what we looked like in 1965, step right outside that back door and see a model of what our library looked like when it opened on its opening day 80 years ago. So thank you so much for supporting libraries. Thank you for coming out today, and enjoy your day at the library.